Winter is fast approaching, and if there's one thing lawn care pros know, preparation is key. Whether you're handling commercial or residential services, securing your snowplow contracts now is crucial. And here's the best part. Our contracts have just been updated. Locking in your contracts now stabilizes your winter income, letting you plan and allocate resources with confidence. Get immediate access to the Snowplow Contracts Bundle training program today at launchpreneuracademy.com. Our updated structured contracts show that you're serious about delivering top-notch service. Whether it's a commercial property or a residential driveway, you're giving clients the peace of mind they deserve. And of course, stay ahead of the competition. With flexible contract options, per push or seasonal prepay, you'll be the go-to provider in your area. Serving large businesses or individual homeowners, we've got you covered. If you're ready to elevate your winter services, head over to Launchpreneur Academy and secure your updated snow plowing contracts now. And yes, they include free lifetime updates. Don't wait for the first snowflake. Get started today and make this your most profitable winter yet. Visit launchpreneuracademy.com and we've provided a link in the podcast description.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, wanted to talk to you guys for just a couple quick minutes here about snow plowing, snow removal, get some information to you guys, and let you know of a couple cool updates on the Launchpreneur Academy website. We're going to be talking about all things snow removal on this podcast episode. 'Tis the season. A lot of our contracts are going out the door as we speak, starting to get a couple of them back, which is always great. And of course, we're always trying to bid, estimate, and secure new accounts and new clients for ourselves for our lawn and landscaping business as we go into the snow and winter season. So first things first, just a little bit of an announcement here. We did update all of these snow contracts, both residential and commercial, for you guys on launchpreneuracademy.com. So if you guys are looking for commercial contracts, residential contracts, if you want both templates and you want to get a bundle and save some money, or you also want those as a bundle, plus the snow and ice management log, and you want to learn the basics to snow plowing with a commercial plow truck and the how to start a snow plowing business, all of those courses and resources together, they have the all-in snow bundle, which is, again, even more significant savings. So all that's available at launchpreneuracademy.com. We're starting to see a lot of snow contracts sell and move. So, of course, appreciate that support. They're $99. They're nominally priced. They're very robust. It's one of our number 1, 2, 3, quote unquote, top selling resources in the spring, the lawn and landscaping contract for commercial sites. And then number 2, of course, in the winter for snow plowing commercial site. Those contracts are other big sellers. So thank you guys so much for the support at launchpreneuracademy.com. What I wanted to do is just talk to you guys for just a couple minutes, our approach this season, what we're doing, talk about our pricing, talk about the contracts that we have available, talk about what we're doing for our residential as well, which has significantly changed. So those are some things I want to talk about for just a quick 15 or 20 minute little debrief here, and we'll try to keep this nice and tight. First off, just want to say thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. We're up here in Metro Detroit, Michigan. My wife and I own a company called Brian's Lawn Maintenance. We've been doing lawn and landscaping for 17, 18 plus years now, which is absolutely crazy. We have 3 full-time guys, 2 or 3 part-time kids, teenagers that help. Myself in the field about 20%, 50% of the time. Payroll-wise, that's 50-50 in the field / office admin that we're recovering all of our overhead costs, running our business with, and understanding how we're running our numbers with our software LMN, which has been phenomenal. This year, we're trending about $400,000 in revenue. And next year, my goal is the big $1 million. All right. So super pumped about the future of our company and the growth. Right now, we're rocking one mega crew. I kind of call it a 3-4 man team, and really doing quite a bit of sites. Very overloaded on that route, but the guys are incentivized to kick ass, and they're doing an amazing job this year, considering how hot it's been, how wet it's been, so on and so forth. So very, very good group of guys. We're basically 3 foremen ready deep to be able to launch into a team of 10 here in 2025. So a lot of great things happening around here, a lot of growth, and our horizon, eyes on the horizon, is the big 7 digits for next year. A lot of things going on in our world right now. Launchpreneur Academy live tickets are selling great. We got about 2 weeks left here. November 2nd, Novi, Michigan is going to be the event. Pre-sale tickets for the early bird discount of just $249. That is going to go through, I think, the 17th, Tuesday. Might have a little option to get it on the 18th still, I think. But that's going to be our conference. Tickets are selling about 3 to 5 tickets a day right now. So thank you for getting those, securing those, getting your hotel rooms. If you're coming, you know it's going to be great. If you're on the fence, make a decision, man. We'd love to see you there. It's going to be a really, really good time. All right, so let's talk about really quick for just a few minutes. I want to talk about snow removal. The first things first, the commercial contract and template that we have at Launchpreneur Academy. We did revise and update everything and cleaned up a lot of verbiage too, just streamline it. You know, every year I get eyes back on it, get a fresh set of eyes, get a fresh look at it, clean up a bunch of stuff. We use Grammarly plugin as well, and always good to see updates there to just make sure grammatically it's correct. Pricing, I haven't really changed too much, to be totally honest with you guys. Actually, my per ton applied salt price is at $240 a ton. We're getting it for about $100 at Site One. I was able to bring that down from $260 just because we're not subbing it out anymore with my friend Mike Bedell. We're going to bring a lot of that in-house. So that's where my per ton applied rate is. And then the base scrape for a 1.5 to 3 inch tier is still at that $245. Again, some guys get more or less. Other guys for a bulk salt application get more or less. It's fantastic to hear out in the marketplace what so many folks are getting. I know guys that'll plow a 1 acre parking lot for $80. I know other guys wouldn't dare drop the plow for less than $500. I know some guys that are getting $150 a ton applied, and I know there's guys out there applying ton for $350 to $800 per ton applied. And you heard that last number right, $800 per ton applied. Okay, so the numbers are a little all over the place across the country, across the board, across the region, U.S. versus Canada. Big snow markets, small snow markets. As you go further down south where maybe they don't get as much snow and maybe it's an emergency situation and people will pay anything to keep those stores open, keep ice off the roads, so on and so forth, right? So one thing I just wanted to just reiterate is that I'm really, really excited to know, and we did a snow webinar a couple weeks ago with the Director of Excellence and Customer Service and Onboarding and all this mess, Stephen Bennett with LMN. If you guys missed that webinar, I super invite you guys to check that out. It was a really, really good visual explainer video walking through our Element office about how we came up with our base rates, how we came up with our base scrape numbers for plowing, sidewalks, bulk salt, ice melt, so on and so forth. If you guys have not checked that video out, I highly encourage you to check that out. We might drop it as like a bonus episode, maybe the weekdays or maybe on Saturday or something like that as an audio only. I feel like it's definitely a watch kind of a video. It's a 20-minute video on YouTube. So the audio, you might be able to listen to it, reference it, understand a couple things. But until you see the visual and how it works in your budget in your office on their CRM, right? It's kind of a lacking, audio only. But, as a bonus program, maybe we'll drop it later this week on Saturday. Really, really pumped up about our numbers, though. The profit we're making, we're running a 50 to 60% gross profit margin on all the snow and salt work that we do intend to perform. And things are going really, really well. So number one, the commercial contracts have been updated for 24-25. Those are, like I said, available at launchpreneuracademy.com. You can check those out if you want a reference point. Somebody was asking, is that the actual contract that we bid with? Yes, absolutely. When somebody gives us an inquiry off our website or a phone call, if you will, that is the exact proposal that we're sending over to folks to secure service. Now, one thing that we have the option with is a per push price and then a flat rate monthly price or a seasonal price, if you will. So let's say we're at $245 a scrape, $240 a ton applied, $35 a bag of ice melt applied, $45 per 100 linear feet of snow shoveling for sidewalks. Fantastic. You times that by 15 events, at the base rate, or a 10-2-1 or whatever it is for the different tiers. 1.5 to 3, 3.1 to 6, 6.1 to 9, or 10, I think it was, and then 10.1 and above, right? So 15 events. Let's say it comes down to $10,875. If you do a flat rate, a contract or seasonal price, you're back to, let's say $2,450 per month for 5 months, the same $10,875. So the numbers pretty much work out the same. Okay, we give the company that we're working with the ability to opt in with whatever they want. Some folks don't mind to roll the dice with per push service. 1 year goes a little their way, 1 year goes a little our way. Of course, over a decade, it all kind of evens out. But some companies, as you guys can imagine, want to take the sting out of the uncertainty, right, of what the seasonal will bring them. So they just opt in for a monthly flat rate contract, which I'm a big fan of. They're a big fan of. I know we're getting paid. They know they're getting service. No surprises on either end. And it's a great partnership. And again, over a decade, it about evens out. So really, really pumped up about that. Right now, we are really moving a lot of our companies, as many as we can, over to flat rate monthly. Yes, there's a little bit more upside typically with a per push. But, if you get a down 20, 30, 50% snow season and, your market is really struggling like we have the last couple of years for a couple of different regions, per push, although there's a little bit of an upside, there's a potential for a huge downside, right? So I'm a big fan of flat rate monthly contracts, if you guys can imagine. All those are going out the door as we speak. It's not too late to get your snow contracts out. It's not too late to start bidding on sites or having that conversation. Like I said, a lot of that is happening right now. We're picking up new snow accounts and conversations pretty much every single day this time of year. So great time to get your, big toe in the door, kick down the door, whatever you got to do as well to get in front of your customers and those commercial sites to lock down the snow. One thing I wanted to just pivot for just a quick second, talking about residential snow plowing contracts. And by the way, if you can't tell, this is just a huge debrief. I've got a bunch of notes here on my phone from a bunch of questions that we've gotten recently about snow contracts. For residential, we have moved the conversation from what used to be a per push to a prepay to a higher cost prepay, to now a higher cost prepay with ice melt service. I'm still dialing in all the legalese and the macro on the insurance world and the industry standards and slip and fall cases and different verdicts and things that have been passed in the last 6 to 12 months, especially in Michigan, but for, a lot of different markets about slip and fall and who's responsible for what. This is a big boy club conversation. So I'm still trying to get to the, the bottom line about all the little nuances. Learning some things off the cuff from my friend Troy Clogg. Hope to get him on the podcast here so he can help maybe quantify some things for us. But short story long, and this isn't legal advice, or I'm not telling you guys what to do, but if you guys are doing residential work, just be forewarned. Anybody who is caught on a slip and fall on a sidewalk without ice melt, you're going to be liable potentially for that slip and fall. And so the rule of thumb is, if you're doing a residential driveway, to really CYA, cover your assets, you're going to want to make sure that you're putting down a salt or at least an ice melt, mix on that surface to mitigate the chance of a slip and fall, which takes our discussion from my last year's prices of anywhere from, I think like 8.25s, 8.50s for some of our veteran customers that have been with us since day one, to a lot of the new residential snow accounts at the retail rate of $12.49, for seasonal unlimited coverage, which literally means unlimited coverage. We do put a cap at it, 45 inches. Then it does revert back to a per push rate of $75 per visit. But we would do $1,250 for a seasonal prepaid. Today, we are now doing $1,499 is our new residential prepay, which includes ice melt. Now, 1,000 square foot driveway plus sidewalks, you're using about a bag of ice melts, about $35 retail. Your cost, $15. A little bit of labor mixed in there. Let's say on average, 10 to 15 visits, 10 to 15 bags of ice melt. You have about $150 to $200 worth of cost. So to take our price from $1,250 to $1,499, it's basically just covering cost and really helping the conversation with mitigating our risks with slip and falls. But number two, giving our customers the better quality product, as now there will no longer be that, quarter-inch, half-inch film of snow that the snow plows don't really drag all the way down to the surface with, and a lot of that can hard pack and freeze. Now with a little fresh coat of ice melt on there, or half a bag of ice melt, we'll be able to get that down to the surface, make it look wet, and of course, just make a better finished product for our customers. And that's really my focus with residential. We are getting people that are signing up with that. We've had one or two pushback say, hey, price is out of my budget. That's fine. one thing that I'd like to make sure that it is completely out of my budget or something I don't have to worry about is slip and falls. So the feeling's mutual. Okay. Don't take on a client necessarily just because you're excited about getting $50 or $75 or $100, a push or a scrape, and then realize the actual macro here is that you're not in the snow business, you're in the risk management business, you're in the access business, you're in the keeping sites clear business, whether it's residential or commercial. And it's not here just to make money. It's here to, of course, service our customers. But again, you're putting your name on the work that you're doing. And if you're leaving a site untreated, unplowed, inaccessible, drifting snow, falling snow, freezing rain or refreezing of ice or snow, right? Like you're assuming that risk of some person going to get their Olive Garden breadsticks at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening and potentially having a slip and fall lawsuit. We do not need to have any of those issues with anybody listening to my podcast or anybody in the snow and ice management realm, which I'm a big fan of learning more about every day. I would love to be an even bigger and better player in and a bigger and better professional in myself. So just really quick, residential, we did go from a $750 to $1,000 price to a $1,250 price to a $1,499 price. That's where we're leaving it. We are 100% doing snow removal. Like I said, 10 to 15 visits up to that 45-inch mark. Then we revert back to time and material. Also, we are including ice melt. There's no other option. It's that, or you do, and we don't do this because this would never work here, but just an idea is for some of you guys, hey, driveway only, you can do it for $750 or $1,000 or whatever it might be, if that makes sense for your budget. But as soon as you start touching those walks, please make sure that you guys are taking care of them with an ice melt or a bag salt, whatever you guys have access to. Okay, and I'd love to learn more about the nuances of the litigation behind all that and the different organizations that are working with insurance agencies and all the legalese that goes with all that mess. I would love to understand more of that, so I'm going to try to find more of that information for you guys. So again, little disclaimer here: don't take anything I say as law. Or the rule of the land. I'm just letting you know where my thought process is. I was at a table at the Element Summit here this, 9-10 months ago. It's in that Troy Clogg's table talking snow, go figure. And, Troy just throws a couple statements out there that completely, implode my snow business, at least the residential side, right, overnight. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, back to the drawing board. So that's where we're at right now. That's what I'm doing. And frankly, if we get 10 people to prepay at $1,500, it's the same thing that we would do 20 people at $750. I'm doing half the amount of work for the same amount of money, and I have a better product. The customer has a better product, and we're 100% reducing our risk or greatly reducing our risk compared to before when we weren't putting ice melt on the drive and the walkway. Does that make sense? So less work, more money, and a better product for the customer. That's always my conversation these last couple of years, and really how we can be a value-driven company, not just a price-driven company, if you will. So we do have our residential snowplow contracts available. They're extremely popular, just as much as the commercial ones. That is for a residential prepay contract. It is entirely different than the commercial one, different verbiage, different setup. There's also in the residential contract program a seasonal prepay, another seasonal prepay with just different verbiage that was a contract that we acquired, and then the third one is let's say you want to do per push only, and your client or your market doesn't really privy you to having a seasonal prepay option. I'm cognizant of that. The residential other template that we have in there, I think you get all 2 or 3 of them in that program. Does have a load up 5 pushes at the beginning of the season. So you get a little bit of what's it called, a retainer, if you will. And then once you exhaust those 5 pushes, you have verbiage in there that says to reload another 4 pushes, it's this amount of money. And then you can charge that to their card or invoice for that to load up a quote unquote another 4 pushes. Some folks can get a seasonal prepay around. Maybe you have a lower market with only 10, 15, 20 inches of snow versus a 40, 50 inch market. I get that. Maybe they're not going to do a seasonal prepay, or snow's not that big of a deal, or it only snows 3-4 times a year. This could be a great potential option for some of you guys. I'm thinking Ohio South that, we only get 4 or 5 snowfalls a year. Well, here you go. You can preload 4 or 5 pushes. If we happen to get more, we'll invoice for more. So that could be a really great option for you guys for your residential snow removal business. A lot of you guys that are in some of these markets are saying, hey, there's not really too much to do winter work wise. We don't get a big winter. That's fine. But you guys have heard me say many times before, and I hope you guys have heard this, have taken it to heart. Don't just look at snow as, hey, we're taking care of the snow. Look at it as we're taking care of a problem that's unpredictable. And number two, you're securing me and or my team to be available for you. And that also means the equipment that we need to make sure that we get the job done. We're partners in this. I'm in the business of taking care of your site. You're in the business of paying me to pay all the things that need to make sure that happens, right? So it's not just, hey, it's, $75 to do your driveway. I have a $10,000 plow. I've got guys I'm keeping on payroll for $3,000-$4,000 a month. I've got my insurances. I've got all my company profit that I need to make, right? Like this is a real business. So the idea is don't just let somebody call you up, ringing the bell, having a 5-alarm fire, saying you need to plow my driveway for $75. That's not a true partner. And, again, it's not necessarily their problem, but it's also not your problem either, right? Like somebody doesn't just get to pick and choose when to use you. So I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of partnerships. I'm more of a fan of, hey, we'll manage your site. So residential wise, hey, again, maybe you get half the inches of snow compared to some of the other markets out there, but you shouldn't just go to an a la carte price for service exclusively, right? Like if we're at $1,500 for a driveway on a 45-inch market and you're getting 25 inches of snow, you should still have a $75 or $750 residential prepay, or it's no coverage at all. Because if it gets 3 snows and you make $75 a visit and $225, like that's not going to pay anybody's bills. Okay, and if they get 8 inches of snow, well, hey, at least they're covered for that as well, or at least to where your cap says. Okay, but don't assume all the risk. Don't take all the risk on. If it doesn't snow, you should still be able to pay your bills and make money in a proper business model. And again, just continue to model what the big guys are doing. This is what the big guys are doing. They're moving the flat rate contracts, pretty much all of them. And then after a certain benchmark, it goes back and reverts back to time and material. Okay. Just some quick thought process there. I don't want to see anybody go broke or go hungry in the winter. You should be able to at least make your payments and make a little bit of money for your salary. Of course, save your nuts in the fall and the late fall. Do as many leaf cleanups as possible to pad stats in the spring, and so you can get maybe some residential prepay money in February, March, April. But I don't want to see anybody go broke for those 3 months. Okay. All right. One other quick thing too was somebody was asking, do we still offer per push pricing for snow for residential? We personally do not. Unless there's a 10 to 15 inch snowstorm coming through and it's an emergency, and we can charge an emergency $100, $150 visit, and they will be at the very bottom, very end of the list, and they have no rush or emergency for us to get to them as long as it's done within 24, 48 hours. Sure. Then we'll evaluate doing a per push option in an emergency situation, or maybe a once off, for a legacy customer, something like that, somebody who we have done some work for. But otherwise, let's say somebody, my regular core customers are prepaying $1,500 a year. Nothing happens in November and it finally snows December 16th. Somebody's not going to get me for a $60 or $75 push and just use me when they need me residentially. Again, I was just talking about this, but that's the truth. You're not going to not secure me and my company and help me pay for my overhead and profit for the season with not partnering me from November 1st through April 1st. Okay, you don't just get to use me once or twice in December, a la carte, pick or choose based on when you have an emergency. Your problems are not my problems. We're looking for real partners that understand that we want to be here a decade from now and you want us to be here a decade from now. And we're going to partner and win together. And we're going to float this overhead and the cost of me doing business together. Does that make sense? So anybody that asks for these one-time snow removal per pushes, my conversation is, nope, we only take on a limited amount of clients. We're only able to take on a limited amount of clients. We only have a limited amount of bandwidth. The folks that get in first are the ones that we devote our attention to. And those are the ones that are going to get service. Quick side note, one thing that I really implore you guys is to, and this is something that has just been on my heart and on my mind lately is, and maybe another podcast for another time, but I really want to talk about the 80-20 principle. 20% of your customers are going to probably provide you with 80% of your revenue. And there's accounts that I'm just flat out not renewing this year. Tiny accounts, pestering accounts, annoying accounts, ungrateful accounts, that kind of a deal, bad priced accounts. We are going to thin the herd And we're going to continue to double down on the 20% of the accounts that bring in 80% of our revenue and 80% of our profit. And that is going to give us the option to and the ability to service them at a higher level, focus on people that are partnering with us. Like, for example, you get some big course accounts, maybe they're 10, 15, 20, $50,000 snow accounts, but you're doing all these like little $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 rogue small accounts that don't take really any less time or any more time than a 1 or 2 acre site. You already drove to it. To go plow an acre takes 45 minutes to an hour. To go do a small site, it only takes 15, 20 minutes, but it's 10 minutes to drive there, 10 minutes to drive back, 20 minutes there. And you're getting a $90 push or $150 push versus a $245 base scrape, right? These little sites, they're fine and cute when you're getting going. It just gets you out there, but you guys can probably realize and imagine, just like I am, is that these end up dragging you down, and usually you end up having more customer service issues than they're worth, because they're usually cheaper having a smaller site, having a smaller budget, because they have a smaller business, smaller gross revenue, and a smaller profit margin than maybe some of the medium-sized and above companies, if that makes sense. So we're thinning the herd on some of those folks. They were great little starter accounts. They're just not worth our time or money or profit. We've had more customer service issues with our smaller sites than we have with any of our medium and larger sites. And so that's just something that I'm 80-20ing our business in the winter this year. And of course, making available more bandwidth for larger, more profitable accounts in general. Okay, so that's just my thought process on per push stuff. I'm not opposed to it, but I really like to move to flat rate monthly contracts for as many sites as we can. And of course, residential prepay for our residential side. By the way, the commercial accounts, we do a 5-month flat rate. That usually kicks in November through March. Other ones kick in December through April. It's always nice having a little bit of a split on that 40%, that flat rate that way, because then I know my bills are paid for November. Then I also know my bills are paid in March going into April, right? So if we do 5 months, November through March, and then 5 months, December through April, at least I know that I've got $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 of flat rate monthlies coming in, and I can bridge that 6 kind of month gap of winter, not just a 5-month gap of winter, because it's staggered, if that makes sense. Residential prepays come in, normally by November 15th, November 18th timeframe. And if we can get 10, 20, 30 of those padding stats with $15,000 to $30,000, that covers my payroll in November, December, even the first part of January, until I start getting paid for my flat rate and my per pushes in November, December, and January with net 30. Does that make sense? So we load up in the fall with leaf cleanups. We load up in the fall with snow removal prepays. And then we start cash flowing the stuff like crazy in December and January and February, as long as it snows, if that makes sense. All right, so that's just some of my quick nuances here. A couple quick things. Again, commercial contract available at launchpreneuracademy.com. Appreciate the support. One thing I just wanted to mention is thank you so much to so many of you guys that advocate for us on Instagram and in Facebook groups. I've seen myself tagged probably no less than 3 to 4 times in the last, week or two, realistically, with being in a couple different groups and a couple different Instagram accounts or posts, if you will, where folks are saying, hey, get Brian's snow contract here, commercial contract there, learn how to do snow this, check out this guy's video that. Really appreciate when folks start talking snow online that our name comes up. I so appreciate that. I so respect that. I'm so grateful for that. I am doing everything I can to become a snow and ice professional. We're, multiple 6 figures deep, going on 7 figures deep with revenue. I'm starting to plug into SIMA. I want to be, SIMA, whatever, certified. This guy's certified. That guy's certified. We'd love to be really heavily thick in the snow and ice management world. So that's all the stuff that I'm going to continue to do to better myself and hopefully bring you guys the latest and greatest. So thank you for that. Of course, appreciate your support in business, if you will, quote unquote, at launchpreneuracademy.com. If you guys are picking up the commercial contract, the residential contract, the bundle, which saves about 20%. And again, if you get the snow all-in bundle, which comes with the how-to training course, you basically save like 40 or 50% versus buying all those 4 or 5 snow courses that we do have available for you in that bundle. It saves you a good 40 or 50%, which is pretty awesome. So thank you again for that. One other last thing I just wanted to share. If you guys want a visual to how we actually price snow, I will invite you guys to check out the resource to the video that we did this same time last year about how we price our snow. Per tier, we do a 1.5x multiplier, both on the per scrape price and then on the sidewalk price. So 245, 360, 750, 455, 7.25, 850, whatever it is, right? It's 1.5x multiplier. What we do for a 45-inch market is we factor 15 pushes, and then we factor 2.5 to 3x snow visits for salt runs. So if we have 15 plow runs, we factor 30 to 37.5 salt runs. So you'll get about a $3,500, whatever it is, $4,000 snow price. And then usually another $6,000 to $8,000 is going to be factored in for salt and ice melt. So that's where you're going to go from a $35,000 to $4,000 for snow, another $6,000 to $7,000 for ice, and you'll get a $10,000 to $14,000 kind of ballpark price range, depending on bags of ice melt and how long those sidewalks are for a 1 acre site with a 100-foot walkway. Okay, so that video is on YouTube. In fact, maybe I can work with Mr. Producer. We can rip the Element webinar I did with Steven and maybe that old snow pricing video from the same time last year. Maybe we can double them up, make a 40-minute show. There is some video that goes along with those, obviously on YouTube, some illustration and some demonstration. The pricing video, for example, I just got pen and paper and showed you guys the exact math of this 4-quadrant on how to do that. A lot of you guys saw that video. It has like 25,000 views on YouTube, which is incredible. But maybe we can put both of those back to back. You can listen to the audio. If you think it's worth your time, check out the video. Sit down with a snack and a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and go ham and take notes and learn. Then you can spend that time investing into your education that way. But maybe we'll try to do a little bonus episode here later this week with both of those resources, so you can at least hear the audio and the mindset behind both as you guys get and grow your snow removal business. Beyond that, man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can leave you guys, but absolutely grateful for your guys' support. Anything I can do to help you guys with pricing snow, please let me know. I am going to do a YouTube video in the next couple of weeks talking about condos and also long driveways and roads. I'd love to hear how you guys are pricing those. I do not have any background in those at the moment. I apologize. So it is a resource. I'm going to make a YouTube video, and then just hopefully the community can build together on that video, drop a couple 100 comments on it, how you guys are coming up with your formulas, your math, and how you guys are pricing these sites out. A lot of folks are growing into the larger apartments and HOA complexes. Again, admittedly, I don't have a background in any of those, managing those sites. So some guys are like, I've got 60, door condo complex, $1,250 a door. Sure. There's a lot of math that goes into those with a skid steer rental, a pusher rental, labor, ice melt, how many bags, how many pallets, how long on site, different tiers, white glove service or not, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot there. So I don't want to guess for you guys, if you will. So we're going to do a resource. Stay tuned to the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel. So when we do drop that video, you guys can check out what other folks are doing out there in the industry. And hopefully we can all just be an open book and learn and grow together. All right. Well, that's what I got for you guys on today's topic, talking about all things snow. There is a lot here. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Shoot me an email, brianslawmaintenance2007@gmail.com. A lot of conversations and happening in the link group. A lot of folks are bidding sites and coming up with all of our best numbers together as we bid and price together. So if you guys have some questions there, check out link. By the way, last episode on Friday, we did a little link promo, and a bunch of you guys joined over the weekend, and we grew past the 200 member count. Awesome. Thanks so much for the support. And we can't wait to continue to build with you guys and build community with you guys as we all grow together. So that's what I got for you guys today. A little bit of a late night podcast for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode though. And it was just jam-packed full of snow tips and tricks to help you guys price out, get, secure, and grow your snow removal side of your business. A lot of money to be made in winter. And based on the forecasts that I keep seeing from the Farmer's Almanac to everybody and their brother and all the weather channels online, it looks like it's going to be a pretty wet, snowy, and dicey, thick, moisture-y kind of a winter. And I'm really excited about, hopefully, all this precipitation keeping up through fall and winter so we can have a banger winter and have one of our best seasons yet. And I pray over all of you guys as well that you have a great, fantastic winter and make a lot of money and a lot of profit. So over now, guys. Appreciate you listening in. Hopefully this was a jam-packed, powerful episode for you guys to learn as much as you can about snow. And again, if you ever have any questions, shoot me a message and I'll always get back to you and try to answer those on the next one. All right, guys. Over now. Have a great rest of the day. We look forward to catching up with all of you guys here on the next episode.
Get ready for the event of the year. Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2024 is coming to Novi, Michigan the weekend of November 2nd. Prepare for a high-energy day packed with expert sessions on cash flow management, business automation, client retention, marketing strategies, and so much more. Our powerhouse lineup of speakers includes Sam Rankin, Pat Murray, Ken Deemer, Brian Fullerton, Sam Gimbel, Mark Bradley, and Jeff Joyner. You'll connect with industry leaders, snag incredible giveaways, and skyrocket your business. Plus, don't miss our epic Friday night mixer for top-tier networking and fun. For those who want to enhance their experience, register for our exclusive Sunday Masterclass sessions on November 3rd featuring Jeff Joyner, Mark Bradley, and Sam Gimbel. These intensive 3-hour classes are limited to just 20 seats each, giving you personalized expert advice from the best in the business. Hurry, secure your Saturday tickets for only $249 right on through September 17th. Then the price jumps to $297. Visit L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com to register and reserve your masterclass spot for an additional fee. Isn't it time you grew your business? Don't miss L'Entrepreneur Academy Live. There's a link in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.